you look at a normal blended whiskey or something, it's like, yeah, you might take stuff from this warehouse or that warehouse, but they're just like, nah, that shit's weak. We're going to take stuff from 8 different states.
The new year is almost here. It's not quite here, but we're getting close enough to be flirting with 2023. And I think that's the perfect time to kind of uncork our next bottle here, which is Barrell Bourbon's Cask Strength 2023 release. So these are always kind of fun, interesting. They send them out before the end of the year, presumably, so you can celebrate the arrival of the following year. It always throws me off to write 2023 while I'm writing reviews in 2022, but this guy, I'm gonna need to take a breath in because it's distilled in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 different states. Like, this is a blend if I have ever seen one.
Yeah, and like it says right on the back, new year, new traditions. They continually break down the walls in the whiskey world over at Barrell Craft Spirits. But with this new year in particular, it's usually, I think, the first year. I don't know if it was the first year they did it in 2019. It was definitely the first bottle I tried.
Mm-hmm.
And it was insane. I was like, wait, there's like 5 different states of distillation in here. What's going on with this? Like, is it gonna be good? And like, am I scared of some of the things that are in here? It's a little bit tricky to say, like, this, like, that's so many ingredients, right? Like, you look at a normal blended whiskey or something, it's like, yeah, you might take stuff from this warehouse or that warehouse, but they're just like, nah, that shit's weak. We're gonna take stuff from 8 different states. I think this is gonna be something.
I'll admit, in other Barrell releases where like, oh man, it comes from everywhere and it comes from 3 states, or we'll be like, oh, the age statements are all over the place and it comes from 5 different age. 8 states just kind of has me like scaroused. Like, this is gonna be something.
Did you say scaroused?
Yeah, have you ever heard that term?
I feel like I haven't, and I want to have a real quick sidebar about that. Is this scared and aroused together?
Yeah. Like, okay. I'm a little bit afraid, but I'm a little bit into it because this, at this point, you and I have tried enough whiskey. In most cases, in my head, I'm like, I think I know what that's going to taste like. I still going to taste it. I want to get those notes, but if you tell me details about a Scotch distillery in the cask, I'm like, hey, I kind of know what flavor realm this is going to land in. But 8 states and barrel proof, this is truly Pandora's box for me, and therefore scaroused. Yeah, so I'm. This is my first pour too, so this is completely
same. I just broke the seal on this.
Oh man.
I don't know if. Jeez. I need a thesaurus here for scaroused. Like, what are some synonyms here? Anyway. As I start digging into this, something that jumps out to me at first, which should be no surprise, is the Tennessee. I pick up that Tennessee liquid right off the bat, but not like in an overpowering way, and not like in a way that turns me away, where this is something that, we've had Will from Barrell on a number of times now. And typically we will get to the point of the show where we're tasting something, and I'll kind of like lean away from the stuff with Tennessee. Then afterwards, when we're off air, I kind of, I'll poke him a little bit, like, if you guys could just blend this in a way that it hides most of the Tennessee, I'm going to love it. And this actually, I feel like kind of does that, where it pops out and I notice it on the nose, but then it kind of melts right back in there. And there's a milk chocolate kind of vibe that I'm picking up that is kind of cool, light nuttiness to it, mixing in with some of that minerality.
Yeah, really interesting.
Almost like I want to say like a mild menthol kick to it. There's like a lot going on in here, which, I mean, who would have guessed with 8 fucking states of distillation, right?
To me, around Christmas time, there's those chocolate oranges.
Yes.
This has a lot of that. It has some of that like chalky minerality. It also has like a really just creamy kind of praline note, and kind of like graham cracker, cake batter, waffle batter. Like, it's sweet, but it's not super desserty, and it's chocolatey, but it's not like a fudge overload. This is really fascinating, and like, I can pick out the Tennessee, but right as I do, it's gone and it becomes something else, and that's really intriguing to me.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. There is a really cool chocolatey vibe here. The orange and the fruit kind of, I think I dodged it on the palate, which is a little bit of a bummer because it works nicely on the nose, but I think that I do pick up this cool, like almost like a creamy coffee ice cream kind of vibe, a mild nuttiness in the background. Overall, this is cool.
It is really different, and I like that. It's not like And for those of you who like can't see our faces because you're listening in the car, it's not like, every now and then I watch a video review and the person's like, oh, it's so interesting, and you're like,
No,
you
this
can
is
just
not
say
that.
you hate it. Yeah, this is
Right.
not that. There's so much going on that it's actually a little bit of work to pick it out. But overall, yeah, chocolate orange and like an espresso finish, which to me is weird on a
Yeah.
bourbon, but I love it.
It's very well integrated too. Like there's a lot of stuff in there. And I got some on my hand. I was trying to see if it smelled different on my hand. It's kind of tasty. What's the proof on this?
It is
13.54.
Yeah,
It drinks way under
56%
that.
ABV.
I was thinking it was
drinks
around 100.
on par with that whistle pig, not gonna lie. This is
Yeah,
drinking way
it does.
under that 56%.
Right. It drinks very underproof. Wow. I think that I'm really captivated by the chocolatey vibes in this thing, and I'm kind of good with that, really. I don't think the past editions of the New Year had that going on. Like some of them were, I would say, like not that far off from a barrel bourbon batch, which is fine. Like the batches are good, and like if that's where you're landing, you've done something right. But I would
Oh,
say
man, yeah.
overall that this stands out from at least the very recent barrel batches to me, where I've felt like those have brought in more layers of fruit than normal. And I get a little bit of this like chocolate, coffee, ice cream kind of vibe. I think you said cake batter, and I really was hoping you were going to say cake butter because I think that was a thing in an episode a few
That's
months
a throwback.
back. But yeah, overall, this is pretty cool. I dig that praline note. It kind of holds it up on the back end too.
Yeah, it really keeps the whole profile together. And it's not like this is a weird whiskey through and through, but with that many states, I'm always kind of worried. Like, it's just a lot of components. I'm worried things will get disjointed and weird. But this flows really nicely from the nose all the way to the finish. And you're like, oh, yeah, I'm ready for another sip. Like, really elegant drinking experience. Like, this is easy drinking at 56% ABV, which isn't all that common. Like, normally, you're drinking darn near 60% whiskey.
Yeah, for sure.
You're like, yeah, I'm fine with this. Like, bring it on. But this is kind of on that dangerous side where I could just drink this for a while.
This would be super fun in a blind because it is not leaning in any one direction very hard. It's very well integrated, very balanced, very kind of cool. Like I'm catching a little bit more fruit now on the finish as I kind of swirl this more and take a few more sips here. But overall, I think this might be my favorite of the New Year's so far. This is really cool.
Yeah, this is easily my favorite of the New Year's. Normally, they fall in that like, yeah, this is good. I enjoy it. And then, the next year comes and I don't drink it for a while. And I'm looking forward to having this a lot of different ways. And I think this is going to make like a really interesting Manhattan.
Ooh.
Just because it's so savory. Like that's going to go
Yeah.
so nice with the vermouth. But, this is my first pour. I'll give it a couple more, start tinkering. And, you and I finally giving ourselves a little time before the actual New Year's means I have a couple weeks to like tinker before it's like, oh yeah, New Year, ha ha ha, and give it a go.
Well, you know what I'm going to recommend with this, so I won't tell you to make a black walnut old fashioned, but
I mean,
think,
it's the only
I think
fruit
it might work.
doesn't have. Yeah,
Man,
black.
I poured 3/4 of an ounce of that, and I just finished the whole thing as we were talking about it because it's just fun to sip.
That is
And I
unusual
feel like
for you.
every time you go back in, you get just a little bit more, something a little bit
Right.
different, and that's really fun.
It is fun because it's not like, oh, I liked it on that first sip and now it's totally different. I don't like it anymore. I'm like,
Right.
ooh, it has the stuff I like. And then also like, ooh, there's a little blackberry. Ooh, it's getting a little more savory. This is fun. Like this, I think is going to open up really beautifully. Like we might just have to come back to this in January.
Yeah, okay.
See how it goes.
You'll have to twist my arm.
We'll see if you have any left by then.
Yeah, really. At this rate, as long as I don't remember to take it out and put it into any blind tastings, we should be fine.
Okay. Yeah, that works for me. But yeah, so happy New Year from Barrell. A couple weeks
Happy
early.
fucking New Year from Barrell, guys. That's not on the bottle, but I feel like if they were to ask me what it should be on there, that would be it, just so you know.
I think it might actually be on there. It's just like blacklight hidden because the TTB would see it. And I feel like if we put this under blacklight, there is probably, these guys with Easter eggs. Everything has an Easter egg.
That's true. That's true. Each batch is unique.